Welcome in. It's episode number 66 of the St0ner Sports Radio Podcast here on a Taco Tuesday here inside the St0ner Sports Radio studios. Once again, joining me as per normal is my friend and co-host Zach Huffman. We will dip into NBA Finals stuff. We'll talk about Justin Jefferson's big deal, the Sooners. On the softball side, looking to 4-peat, natties for Patty, trending on Twitter as it does around this time of year. Caitlin Clark will get into that. Recency bias topics, plenty to come up in more. And this is where I will bring in co-host and friend Zach Huffman. Zach, how we doing on this Taco Tuesday?
Boomer Sooner.
I bet you are just top of the world here, brother.
Did not, once 1 o'clock hit at work, I did not do another thing the whole day. Locked in on the phone, locked in on softball.
Scary.
Man, what a game.
Yeah, scary.
Scary one. Down 4-2, down 5-2 at one point. Get it within, first we were down 2-0. Tied up. All right, we're cool. Now we're down 5-2. Fuck. Get it within 1. I don't know. Just a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Extra innings, roller coaster.
Yeah, extra innings, roller coaster, but you made it. You're taking on Texas. We'll dive into that here in a minute. Let's start out with the NBA Finals. They are set. It is Boston. It is Dallas. It is Luka. It is Jason Tatum. It is Kyrie. It is Jaylen Brown. On a scale of 1 to 10, Zach, how excited are you for this matchup in the NBA Finals compared to kind of some of the more recent ones?
I think this is going to be the best finals we've seen in a long time. This is going to rival 2016 Cavs Warriors, and I won't in terms of greatness because none of these players are nearly as great as LeBron or Steph. But this is going to be a back and forth series. It is going to be play style against different play style. We have a very heavy 3-point reliant team in Boston, and then just inside domination by the Mavericks. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right here. I think this is two teams that match up really well together as far as kind of what they bring to the table as a roster as a whole on both sides. And I think that overall, you can't really ask for a better storyline than a team that needs to win a title and then a team that could be putting their imprint on something that could be a longer length of success in their side of the conference in the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, 100%. Luka's, he's entering that 25, 26, 27 age group, kind of, same with like SGA. And this is kind of the time when it's you got to start looking at if they can win a championship or not. You think about the greats, think about LeBron, MJ, Steph, all of them win their first ring around 27-ish, right? So, that time's basically come for Luka, and same for Jason Tatum. And now it's time one of them's going to win a ring. So that's, first of all, that's going to be awesome that one of them is winning a ring. The only problem is I'm going to need the Mavericks to win because I need those boys in OKC to know that they lost to the champs and not to some scrubs.
Yeah, I even think at this point you can kind of even feel the way you feel. You lost to the Western Conference champs. As long as the Mavs don't get swept, I still think that you're looking at a positive. It's not going to be like you said that the tops would definitely be like you're saying. You need the Mavericks to win for that scenario to be the ultimate confidence boost, right? But I'm saying you could live with them not winning this series, but but you know me, I'm locked into the Mavericks. I'm
with you.
Yeah, I think we're looking at this Mavs team as a team that, it took getting past the toughest team they're gonna play in Oklahoma City. That's no shade to the Celtics. I just think this matchup it super favors the Mavericks right here because as we segment into our first little subtopic here, I think Luka and Kyrie are a better duo than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I don't think it's even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, go ahead and give me, your thoughts. Obviously, I think I know what side of the conversation you're on here, but kind of break it down a little bit more for me.
Yeah. So for me, it has a lot less to do with the guard play, right? And I'm going to throw Jason Tatum in that conversation too, in terms of guard play. Because those players, they're all going to get their points. Luka's going to probably average 35, right? We've never seen finals Luka, so he might just average 40. I don't know. And then Kyrie's going to come in, and Kyrie in the finals is probably giving you 25. Um, Jason Tatum's going to give you probably 24 ish, just because of all the other stars on his team. Jaylen Brown's going to give you his points, but my big kind of what I think is the difference maker for the Mavericks, and the reason that I have the Mavericks in 6 is because Celtics bigs are not going to be able to handle the athleticism of the Mavericks bigs. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about Lively. I'm talking about Derrick Jones Jr., who's maybe not like a big, but he's a huge lob threat, right? Um, I'm even talking like, I mean, Gafford, first of all, is I would argue a top 5 center in the NBA. Um, Probably number 5, and I don't mean that just he's not very good offensively, except the fact that he catches lobs at a very high rate, and the fact that he's a lockdown defender who gets like a million blocks when it matters. Um, I don't think that the Celtics bigs, I'm talking Al Horford, right? Kristaps Porzingis, who is
Hmm.
going available game 1 and will be playing in the finals at full capacity. Um, they're just not going to be able to keep up. They're not going to be able to keep up with the lob threats. They're not going to stop those lob threats because these are all 7-footers I'm talking about. It's not like we have huge size differentials. The only kind of big size differential is probably just weight, and that probably favors the Celtics a little bit. But that's not going to matter if they're 4 feet up in the air. So I have the Mavericks for that very reason, because I'm thinking the same way that the Mavericks beat the Thunder is going to be the same way that they beat the Celtics, because the Thunder and the Celtics are very similar teams in terms of play style. And when I say that, I'm talking about just like heavy 3-point reliance, and then your superstar being able to get that mid range whenever he wants to. Um, the Mavericks have the blueprint to beat the Celtics. They did it in round 2 of the Western Conference, and as long as they can hit some shots, hit some threes, and if they can close out on the Celtics on the 3-point line, and then they keep that lob threat up, I Mavericks have this in 6.
Yeah, I think you make a pretty good argument for that. Let's kind of dig a little bit deeper into this Porzingis thing, right? He will be available game 1. Porzingis returning for Boston is would his absence to your effect be enough of a detriment to them to where you would be saying Dallas in 4, Dallas in 5? Because I
No.
feel like you put Porzingis on the floor, right? I think you have a good chance of having a guy that, if he's in full capacity, like they say, to drop, 15, 20 points for you. But I have a feeling it's not going to be so easy for this big guy. I think there's going to be a lot of rust to shake off here. I don't know how effective he's going to be. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Zach, I mean, how much of an increase for the Celtics does this give them as far as a chance to beat this Mavs team? And how much do you think he is going to be an impact?
If we're talking how much it improves their chances to beat the Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis being in the lineup on a 1 to 10 scale, probably like a 7, right? Like, I think he's pretty heavily influential on their ability to win finals, and the biggest part of that's his defense. And while he's not going to be able to take away the lob threat like I think a lot of people think he is, he's going to get dumped all over, and that's going to happen multiple times in this series. I apologize to Celtics fans. It's just true. He's going to get dumped on. Um, it's more so about the fact that he can stop the actual post offense. Actually running the offense down low, actually trying to get some layups down there, free up a little couple of post moves. He's going to be locked down when it comes to that. Now, another issue that I can see with the Mavericks kind of dealing with Kristaps Porzingis is having that 5 out kind of lineup that the Celtics like to do, where Kristaps is kind of hiding in the corner. Um, that's an issue for the Mavericks because they are not going to be able to guard the perimeter like that. Lively and Gafford in particular are not going to be able to guard the perimeter as well as they would inside. And not to mention, they have to be inside. At least Gafford does, because if he's not in there, then that's an open lane. So you're dealing with 5 out. You're dealing with Gafford kind of splitting the 3-point line on the corner and the block. Um, that could be an issue, especially if they can get on, the other side of the basket and Gafford's not on that side. He has to come over. That frees up the corner for Kristaps Porzingis. That's why the 5 out is such a good kind of offense, I think. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily know how the Mavericks deal with that. I think the only way they can deal with that is just committing to stopping inside scoring, just committing to, if Kristaps Porzingis goes 7 for 7 from the corner, then we let that happen. I think that's just kind of the move for the Mavericks, is to sacrifice that and hopefully the Celtics shoot like the Thunder shot.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to hope for. And here's the thing: is the biggest harp on Dallas before the trade deadline was this team does not play defense at all. I mean
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing. And all of a sudden you add PJ Washington, you add Gafford, and all of a sudden the defense is turned up to a level
And
that
Lively comes back.
yeah, and
I
Lively
think that's
comes
the big
back.
issue that
Yeah,
people
and
miss, is that he was hurt for so long.
your interior defense skyrockets. You have a
They become
guy.
the number one defense in the second half of the year
Yeah,
post All-Star break.
yeah,
Literally the number one defense in the
yeah,
league.
I mean, literally. I mean, it's been one of the most remarkable turnarounds. And to be honest, it's one of the most post Mark Cuban pulling a move, moves that this organization has had. I mean, this is one of
100%.
those. This is one of those things where me and you are looking at each other, going, "Mark Cuban doesn't do this. Mark Cuban would never." Like Mark Cuban put together Porzingis and Luka. Like that was a thing, right? It didn't work out, right? We've seen that it hasn't worked out. Boston had Kyrie, that didn't work out. Those players have swapped. We're going to hear to the end of time the storylines about that. That's going to be played into heavily. You're going to get sick of it. You're going to get nauseated by them talking about, oh, Kyrie's going to go step on Lucky again. Like, I mean, good. I mean, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, like, cry harder. I mean, and then for Porzingis, it's like, what was the problem where you couldn't play with Luka, but Gafford and Lively seemed to be playing seamlessly? Why couldn't you have been a lob threat? Why did they have you just camped out on the perimeter the whole entire time? Where not only you're not the best at defending, I mean, he's not a perimeter defender just as much as Gafford is. He's an interior defender as well. So, if you can find a way to spread out, Boston's interior defense the way that they are going to spread out Dallas, because I think you're right. They're going to do the 5 out. It's going to happen. Like it's 100% going to happen. We're going to see it on Thursday, and I would bet every single penny I've got in my bank account, you're going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's where you're at, and for me, you've got Dallas in 6. I'm with you, Dallas in 6. I think we're in agreement here. Dallas in 6. Virtual handshake. Dallas in 6. We're we're here. We're here and we're ready. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I think both of us are kind of very much sold on the way the Mavericks have been playing basketball, and obviously people will say, well, you're only saying that because they beat the Thunder. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's the way it happened. No one could have
Yeah.
predicted the way they beat the Thunder was the way this was going to go. And here's the thing: is the Thunder matchup so much better with Boston than Dallas does. I mean, this would be a prime time for the Thunder to probably take a championship. I think this is because they've got the perimeter defense for that 5 out, not to, and they'll do it right back at them. That's the thing, is we'll do it right back at you.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's what we could have had, but that's not where we're at. So we accept that. But I think it's the way they conquered our 5 out, which is why we think that this is not going to be really a factor. I mean, you say 7, I say probably it is, because of, like you said, the defense. It's not the offense; it's the defense of Porzingis.
100%. And I think one important aspect of this is, I think the Mavericks being in the finals kind of separates the people who watch basketball and the people who watch box scores, right? Because the Mavericks were the fifth seed, right? They were technically the fifth best team in the Western Conference. So people that don't watch basketball until the playoffs were thinking that the Mavericks were not very good. They were thinking the Mavericks were a mid team that was probably going to lose to the Clippers. And you saw that with the media people who also don't watch basketball when they were picking all these other teams over the Mavericks. Obviously, I still picked the Thunder over the Mavericks. That's on me and Homer. But if you had like the Clippers over the Mavericks, I mean, I think I had them. I think I had the Clippers in 7 actually, but like if you had like the Clippers over the Mavericks in like 4, if you had honestly, if you had the Timberwolves over the Mavericks like in 4, people were thinking it was going to be easy. But once I sat down I watched a couple of Mavs games in the regular season. I watched them every time they played the Thunder, obviously. That February 5th game, when first game after the All-Star break, right after they got Gafford, right after they got PJ Washington, they blew us the fuck
For
out.
a 40-point loss.
It was ugly.
40 point,
It was terrible. I was
143
watching
points given up. 143
I was
points given
watching
up.
that Mavs team when that was happening, and I was thinking, "This is the best team in the NBA. There's no team better than this in the NBA," and they looked like it at that time. And now we're sitting here, and they're in the finals, and both of us are picking them to win. Also, Vegas is picking it. So it's I mean, they're obviously we're not the 5th best team in the Western Conference. I think pre All-Star break, they were not that great of a team. I'll give them that. But also Lively was out, so they were missing some of their anchors. And then they actually acquired an anchor in Daniel Gafford, and then got another solid defender who can hit 3-point shots in PJ Washington. They knew exactly what they needed, and they went and got it. And like now they're in the finals because of it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, and the dog does too.
Yeah,
Look,
but wait for this offseason to see if the Mavericks make any moves there. Because you got to remember, if they win a ring, some of those players are getting paid in other places.
yeah.
So look for the Mavericks to be, I think, active in the offseason.
Hey, Gleba, come down to OKC, baby. We're gonna overpay the shit for you. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, Gafford, come over.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if you paid him big money. I really wouldn't be.
Hey, Derek Lively, remember when we were supposed to draft you?
Oops. Yeah, I mean, hey, come back. Hey, it was meant to be. It was on purpose. Look, I mean, I think that was the other big thing is we didn't really know what Lively was going to be when he got hurt. We didn't really know what we were going to get from him. So at that point, we didn't really feel like it was going to be any big. We didn't think he was going to pan out the way he has. I think he's exceeded expectations for now. And again, you'll probably see a drop off next year because more tape means more whatever, and people just defend better and yada yada yada. Anyways, I think that's kind of where we're at.
I think an important thing, and I hate to say it, but players typically play really well after a tragedy. And his mom passed not too long ago.
Yeah.
And that I'm just saying, Isaiah Thomas dropped like 50 when his sister died.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's historically has been documented that the tragedy.
This is based on fact. This isn't based on opinion. This is based on fact.
Look at MJ's 4th ring.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get into your shirt real quick. We're gonna get into /St0ner softball here. Look, big
boom that happened to end the game, the walk off boom.
Boom. Hey, Jada Coleman. Boom. Look,
I blurred out, but it's not there. You see it?
Boom. Yeah. So, I mean, look, this was we obviously follow softball religiously around these parts. We know a lot of the country does not, but look, I mean, this is we're Oklahoma. There's not much to do here, but we do some things, and it is hosting the the World Series for women's softball and actually having a good team that does some good things.
Say something.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah.
For everybody that's angry that the Women's College World Series is hosted in Oklahoma City, I have 2 things to say. First, Nebraska's not winning the baseball championship every year. So get that out of your head. Second, build another fucking stadium with a 15,000 seat capacity for softball, and maybe it'll go somewhere else. There's a reason it's here. Anyways, I'm saying that to say fuck you to the Texas coach.
It's a home field advantage.
Rotate it where?
Yeah,
where
let's have it in St. Louis. That sounds fun. Under the arch.
I said we should have the finals, OU versus Texas. Throw it in the Cotton Bowl and just put a softball field in there.
Do it. You know what? We're playing softball on the moon. No, look, I think no, I mean, yeah, no, but this game today was fantastic. Now, first of all, you have to acknowledge the fact that Florida gave OU their first postseason loss in 20 postseason games when it came to the College Softball World Series tournament.
Punch us in the face.
And it wasn't like they walked it off. No, it was 9-3. It was not close. It was a complete, absolute great performance by Florida. So going into this game, I know I wasn't feeling great. And after they were down 2-0 on a home run shot, in the second inning, I was like, oh, this isn't good. And then when it was like you said earlier when it was 5-2, I was like, hey, this is really bad. And then you have another 2-run shot to make it 5-4. You eventually tie the game in the bottom of the 6th inning. You have a chance at the bottom of the 7th with 2 runners on to try to end it. You can't get it done. And I felt like that might have been, one of those that was your opportunity type moments there. But you have to tip your hat to Kelly Maxwell, the transfer from Oklahoma State. Another story that people will definitely latch onto, because for the first 2 or 3 innings, I was like, oh, this is she's going back to she's doing this for Oklahoma State. She's tanking right now. Yeah. She
She's
traitor.
looking very pookish.
Yeah, very Benedict Arnold of you, Kelly Maxwell. I mean, I was like, oh, this is the best bait ever. You baited them. You got to this point. Now you're just gonna tank it. This is fantastic. I thought the storyline was just gonna ride itself, but in the end, great final 3 innings from her. She shuts out this Florida team for the back half of this game, and again, walk-off solo shot by Jada Coleman in the bottom of the 9th inning, and 8th inning, bottom of the 8th inning. Gets the job done. What are your takeaways here as they prepare to face the Longhorns in a Red River rivalry, all SEC college softball World Series?
I hate to say it. I think Texas is the better team. It pains me to say that. And while I say that, they don't have the crowd on their side. They don't have magic on their side. And they don't have love and friendship on their side, which is why OU is going to win the national championship and 4P that bitch. Because all I know is one thing. I know 2 things. First is that Texas has never won a natty in softball because they fucking suck. Number 2 is Texas also couldn't finish in the conference this year. They were not conference champions. That would be OU, and yet somehow I get that Texas beat us earlier in the season, but what I don't understand is how Texas was ranked number 1. And I think while I did say that I think Texas is a better team, because I think they are. They have more skilled players than we do. The biggest problem that they really truly have is that they just don't got it like that. And I hate to say it, they just do not have it like that. The Sooners have everything on their side. We also have J. Cole. No one else has J. Cole. We have J. Cole, we have TR Jennings. No one else has those 2 players, and they are the best 2 players in softball. So that's all that matters. The rest of the roster, I'm not nearly as confident in. I've seen a lot of mistakes this year from OU that I'm like, that's ugly. That wouldn't have happened if Jossie was still on the team. That wouldn't have happened back in the Chamberlain days. So I was like, what's going on here with some of these plays? But and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this in a manner that's controversial. Jocelyn Allo is by far the best offensive player in softball history.
I don't think that's controversial.
I haven't gotten to the
Oh.
controversial part. Jada Coleman's the best softball player of all time.
Whoa. Whoa. Wait. Wait. Hold on. Let me hit this real quick. Wait. Excuse me. Wait. So okay, I mean,
Let me
so
present
like
it.
so you're
Let me
saying
present my
defensive and offensive like as a whole most complete, because like you said, like Johnson Allo, what she play outfield? Was she outfielder?
yeah,
Okay, and what is Coleman? Coleman like a shortstop, second baseman,
left field.
left field. Well, so we can't really say anything about that. I mean, like, what's your I mean, is it just because she's got a lot of web gems? Like, what are we like using as a measuring stick here?
One, and I think this is important, is clutch moments. Jada Coleman's
Well,
known for.
wait. Hold on. You can't
Hold
really
on.
have clutch moments when you're blowing everybody out by 6, Jocelyn Allo. I mean, I'm sorry, they were winning like every game by double digits. I'm just throwing that
Okay.
out there.
Okay. I'll that's fine. I'll deal with that. Um, the biggest reason is one, with that hit today, with that home run,
Oh yeah, I know the
Jada
stat. Go ahead.
Coleman became the all-time softball history leader in runs scored. She consistently puts herself in scoring position and consistently gets to home plate. she's also like number 4 in home runs or something like that. She is number 1 by far in saved home runs, and that means she catches the ball over the fence. That does not happen very often. That rarely happens in the MLB. I saw J. Cole do it twice in one game. Nobody sh nobody has just the sheer skill and athleticism. I've never seen it on a softball field like I've seen with, Jada Coleman. She just she dives for balls, she catches them, she makes amazing catches, and then she goes and she's lead hitter. I love Jocelyn Allo. I think Jocelyn Allo is the greatest hitter of all time. But she wasn't like that on defense. She was good on defense, but she wasn't like that. Jada Coleman is a better defender than she is an offensive player, and she is also lead hitter. I mean, that's how I
It's
feel.
a
She's
good
gonna
argument.
and
I have no rebuttals. You backed it up. I think that's a fair point. I
I'm
think
pretty sure she will get 4 in a row if she wins this one. Like, she has 4 in a row. I think she was a freshman when they started.
well, I'm telling you right now, I'm going out and I'm buying like as much Natty Light as I can get my hands on, and I'm just gonna drink my.
Nice,
I mean,
Patty.
I don't even like Natty Light. I'm about to just buy like.
I mean, we're gonna pull up to Toby Keith's Bar and Grill
Oh, R.I.P.
after OU wins.
R.I.P. I mean,
RIP. This is
R.I.P.
for Toby.
Red Solo Cup, all that stuff.
This softball season's for Toby.
I agree. I agree.
We're
Everything
pulling up
this
to
year.
that bar after they win, and we're
Oh,
buying natties for Patty.
oh, yeah, no, 100%. We're gonna be there. We'll post it. We'll be there because I'm gonna be locked in. Game one tomorrow. No rest for the wicked. Um, and work to do for the Sooners. Let's pivot here. NFL talk. We had some offseason signing stuff to get into. Mainly Justin Jefferson. The Vikings signed him to a record deal, guaranteed $28 million a year over 4 years, possible $35 million a year with incentives. Um, you were like, I almost had a heart attack because they called him JJ on the alert, and you were like, what are we
Yeah,
doing
I
here?
thought that the
Yeah.
Vikings just decided to pay JJ McCarthy 35 million.
Yeah, well, wouldn't
Like,
shock
what
me.
were you worried about losing him? I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, just kind of break down. I mean, this obviously is a big purchase for them, and takes up a lot of their cap space.
Yeah,
Um, uh, but again, I think it's a guy you need to lock down, and he is kind of the face of your franchise right now, and I think he will continue to be as long as he stays healthy. I love him to death. I think he's a great personality and just a fantastic player to watch. One of the most fun players to have on a fantasy team, or to draft on your daily fantasy team. I mean, when Red Zone is on, I feel like I don't get enough of Justin Jefferson highlights, especially after the quarterback injuries last season. You didn't get to see him as much because they couldn't get him the ball because the quarterbacks just weren't as good. That's going to change, and we're going to see another good 1,300 yard season probably from, or more, easily from Justin
or more.
Jefferson.
You
Yeah,
gotta remember he had like 1,100 yards on 8 games this season.
yeah.
Um, Justin Jefferson, that 100% smartest move the Vikings could have made is locking down Justin Jefferson. He's the best player in the NFL.
Whoa!
Um,
Wait! He's the best player in the NFL. Like we're
yeah,
sure about that. Like we're locking that in.
I mean, if you want to say like Patrick Mahomes because he's a quarterback, I guess.
And I mean,
But like
okay, so like non-quarterback. I mean, I wasn't even really thinking quarterback. I don't know who I was thinking more like.
TJ Watt
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
thing.
yeah, that I don't. I mean,
I used
for
to think Aaron Donald was the best player in the league, and that's when Tom Brady was in his prime. So like,
yeah, you're on the outliers normally with that. I'll give you that.
yeah. But
I
like
think,
non quarterback,
yeah, I think
I think
he's,
definitely Justin Jefferson.
yeah,
And let me tell you why. Um, he's had a lot of quarterback issues. That's
yeah,
no
yeah,
lie.
and still been able to
Doesn't
produce.
matter who's throwing the ball,
Yeah.
he's giving you 1,000 yards in probably before the halfway mark of the season. That's just happening, and he's probably going to sit a couple of games, and that's fine because he is a little bit more injury prone than people like to say. Um, this might be because I was watching the OU game when he scored 4 touchdowns in the first half,
Yeah.
but personally, and I'm talking just like raw watching them, not accolades, nothing like that. I don't know if I've ever seen a receiver that has a better skill set than Justin Jefferson. Um, and that's just from raw eye test. I don't want to talk
I
about stats, nothing
I
like that. Just like
I think you're gonna get a real run for your money with Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think you're gonna get a real run for your money with that.
I tend
I
to
mean,
agree with that. I think I'm gonna get probably
I mean,
uh,
even
an
C.J.
even
Stroud
larger run for my
and
money with
what and Tank
Caleb
Dell.
Williams and Rome.
Yeah, yeah. Caleb
I
Williams and
think
Rome.
Rome's
Yeah,
gonna be like I said in the draft. I think Rome's gonna be the best receiver in this class.
yeah. I mean, Michael Penix Jr. I can't believe it. Anyways, um,
Wait. Let me recreate it real quick.
yeah, I, I, yeah, in my wildest dreams. No, I think it's good to lock him down. I think it's a good thing. It's expensive, but I mean, I don't know where else you're gonna. I mean, there's no really else logical place to put the money. And because you have JJ waiting in the wings, is he waiting in the wings? Are we starting JJ? Like, is that the plan?
I think we're starting
Okay,
JJ. Yeah.
starting JJ. Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, so you got a young
Who else
quarterback
do they
that you
have?
don't have to pay for a while. What
Who else do they have?
did they keep anybody? I know it's gonna be him, isn't it?
I think Sam Darnold.
Oh well, yeah, they might start Sam.
Oh, well, hold on. 5 hours ago, I'm looking at this article. Vikings analyst sees Sam Darnold establishing himself as QB1.
Okay, I mean,
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think you try out JJ.
preseason will be interesting. That's all you have to say. Preseason will be
Sure.
Vikings preseason games will be must watch for me.
I'm personally I'm a believer in let them play a season. Like if
Mm.
you're in a situation like the Vikings where you're not winning a ring this year,
Oh,
let them play
really?
a season and
Really?
see
You
what
tell
happens.
Vikings fans that they believe.
I don't know what they're believing in.
They believe in JJ's the next coming of Jesus Christ. Like I mean, I mean, I mean, no, I think you're right. I think they're not in a position right now. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're in that position to win a ring, and why not? You know what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold, right? You know it. Like it's fine,
Yeah,
and that's it. It's mid. It's missionary for 2 minutes. It's mid. That's Sam Darnold, right?
yeah.
So JJ McCarthy, he's got the fresh new hair, got the video where he's signing the camera. Let him play around with it for a year. See what he can do as QB1. Throw him in.
Yeah.
What's the worst that happens? He has what the worst thing that could possibly happen is you lose uh 14 games instead of 12 games. Like
You think they're only gonna win like 4 games this season?
that's a lie. They can do better than that. I mean, I would probably have them like 9-8.
Okay, that's yeah, that's sort
And
of
that's the problem, right? That's kind of the problem with the Vikings is that they're just so consistently mid.
yeah.
And
They somehow sneak in the
like I
postseason
said,
all the time.
they have the best player in the NFL, like I said,
Yeah,
and
the
they're
best player,
consistently mid.
best player. I mean, I even think Mark Chase is pretty good. I mean,
He's
he's
he's a
pretty
top
he's pretty
he's a
good.
top 5 receiver.
But the thing is he doesn't make them like Justin Jefferson is like OBJ and like Jerry Rice and Randy Moss like had some sort of three-way incest baby. Like I mean, it's weird because the thing is he didn't get all of any of them, so it's not like anything really stands out. But he does everything so well, and it just looks so clean. And the way he can,
Just separation. That's all it is.
yeah, I mean,
That's the biggest part of his game is separation.
yeah, and he's got it. He's got. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb is very much like him as well with that. I think he's and especially with just the ball in his hands after the catch. I think also both of them are kind of on equally creative playing fields.
For that. I think CD Lamb, and maybe this is contra. I don't think it is. CD
No,
Lamb's the second best receiver in the league.
yeah, no, I don't think that's controversial. I really
Um,
don't. I think you would
I
have a
could
lot of
have told
people.
you that in 2018 when he was playing at OU. I could have told you that shit.
Yeah,
After the catch, that man is probably the best in the league.
yeah, I think that the only thing you would have to worry about with that argument is whether people bring up Jamar Chase or whether people bring up, you know, uh,
Kyrie.
Yeah, that'd be kind of the first two I would think of if I was gonna make an argument against it. But I think in the end, I think you would be able to sway those people that you're probably right. Um, yeah, but I think that kind of wraps it up for NFL talk. Not really much going on here. We'll kind of dive into that later on. Let's hop over to the WNBA, the ever so talked about, always on the minds of the talking heads 24/7 for the last 45 years. It's the WNBA. Look, no.
Ooh.
Yeah, Stephen A got roasted. We're not gonna really
And
we're not gonna really harp on that. But we're just going to talk about the fact that Caitlin Clark and what she has done for the WNBA in general, and whether or not this is my controversial take of the podcast episode here. And a question to you is she more influential comparatively than MJ was when he was in the league? Because we know a lot of people weren't watching the NBA until MJ was hitting his prime. And that's like 2 or 3 seasons in, right? You look at Caitlin Clark, what she's done for the WNBA, the kind of attention she's getting now, and the potential for that to increase. Is she on a trajectory here to influence the NBA comparatively to the way MJ did for the NBA, as far as getting more people to watch the sport, getting more people involved as far as is kids wanting to do this? We're talking shoe lines, we're talking things like this. That's why we call Michael Jordan the GOAT, because he revolutionized the sport and gave it an eyeball that it didn't have before he entered the league, to the extent that he did. And that is paired along with technology and the availability of TVs in the household. I get that. But when you compare Caitlin Clark and what she's done, I mean, the bitch got charter planes for these people that were flying commercial to their games. I mean, I don't think MJ did anything like that, but he certain as hell shaped a generation of people for sure. And I think that
yeah,
Caitlin Clark has the potential to do that. What are your thoughts on her and just how this has been for her? And do you think I'm just off the deep end with this, or do you think I have something going here?
well, first, we do not think Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Oh.
Uh, first of all, LeBron James is the
Oh, I
GOAT.
thought you were gonna say
But
SGA. Come on, man.
um, that's my own. That's
Know
my
your
first
place.
thing.
It's
All right.
SGA.
Second thing is Caitlin Clark is not as influential as Michael Jordan was in the NBA. She is more influential than Michael Jordan was in the NBA, and I would rather compare her to someone. That's a lie. Let me rephrase that. Caitlin Clark is bringing more people to watch the game, whereas Michael Jordan, he definitely globalized the sport. He did get more people to watch it, but he more so influenced the way that people play and kind of like the culture more broadly. Whereas Caitlin Clark is doing more of that Magic Johnson, Larry Bird role, her and Angel Reese, right? Of rivalry in college, move it to the WNBA, and all of a sudden people start to pay attention. And when people start paying attention to one rivalry, right, then they start watching those two players' games. And when you start watching those two players, then you see the teams they play against and you start becoming fans of other players on other teams. And that's what happened with Magic and Bird. People didn't used to not watch the NBA. They'd rather watch college ball. That's exactly what just happened with women's college ball. People would rather watch women's college ball because it was just better and it was a better product. But now we've kind of exploited that a little bit more, got some more media coverage because of Caitlin Clark and others. And now we kind of have that same rivalry that was in college. We have it in the WNBA now, and now we're interested, and now we want to watch, and now we're paying attention to teams like the Liberty and the Aces because we realize those are the best teams. And now we know that the Fever are ass, and know that the Sky are pretty decent. And now they added some rookie talent, and they have Kennedy Carter on their team. Uh, but I think it's more akin to like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird in that sense of being just like we had this rivalry, we brought it over, and now we've got all the people that were watching college women's basketball watching the WNBA now. I think you've always had that group of people that watch the WNBA. I'm not going to say I was one of them. I was pretty casual with it. I'd watch it every once in a while. I'm not keeping up with it by any means. I wasn't. Now I am, right? Now I'm keeping up with it. And that's because I want to see what happens with Caitlin Clark. Like that's the truth. And she's not disappointing. She's averaging 18 points in her first month as a rookie in the WNBA. That's pretty fucking good for a rookie. And I can imagine that she's probably going to end up averaging 30 within 3 years.
Yeah,
Um, that's the big reason. And also, I don't know, I have to say this. People keep bringing up the bullshit talking about Angel Reese brought just as much attention to women's basketball as Caitlin Clark. I love Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a great player. Angel Reese did not bring half the attention that Caitlin Clark brought to this game. And that's just the truth. There is no world in that. Angel Reese is a great player, was really popular in college, was really good in college. I'll give her that. But people were not tuning into LSU games to watch Angel Reese. They were tuning into Iowa games to watch Caitlin Clark. That's just the truth. I was watching in the women's tournament. I was watching whatever game Caitlin was in. And I think the only women's college game I watched that didn't have Caitlin Clark in it was UConn and Stanford.
that was a good
So
game.
that was a great game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on target there. I would even say Brittany Griner probably brought more to the WNBA than Angel Reese did, because those Baylor teams. We watch those Baylor teams, and bitch can dunk. I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I think that would be. She ain't no Lisa Leslie. Like, let's chill out. It's just not.
Well,
So
give it time.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
my thing.
No, I
Give it
said
time.
yeah. Give her time. No, I'm saying
And I actually have a story that kind of exemplifies how great Caitlin Clark is, right? So we know that Caitlin Clark got them charter
yeah.
flights. Like, it's no secret that she's the reason that happened. They knew that new money was coming in. They started chartering flights. It's not controversial to say that. Not, I think 3 years ago, I was at an airport, um, and I saw what a lot of people think who is the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, sitting at a public gate about to fly Delta, and that was like the GOAT. So Caitlin Clark did some shit.
Yeah. No,
She
I
fucking chartered planes. I'm talking, this was the
yeah.
Mercury. Brittany Griner was on the team. This was the best team in the WNBA. They won the chip the year before, and they won the chip that year, I think. I don't know, it might have been like 2019, something like that. But they were waiting at a gate at Delta all together with their team gear on, everything, and not a single person was around them. Not a single fan was going up to them being like, "Oh, hey, what's up? It's the Mercury. It's me and my friend. We were just kind of like walking by. We were like, yo, that's the Mercury. That's crazy." And then we kept walking. Like,
Yeah, even you were like, I don't even want Diana Taurasi's autograph. Like, fuck that,
yeah,
I'm
like
out
I
of
was like,
here.
damn, she's pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
Like, and
really.
that's just like the growth that happened. I'm not afraid to admit
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
that's the
No, I.
growth that has happened. Now I can tell you, like, the
You can
large
say that's a
history of the
huge mistake.
WNBA,
If I went back,
how
I
I
would
got
do
into it.
it.
Like,
do
it's
you
interesting
do
now.
you look back on that and go, I should have done something?
Yeah, I definitely should have got
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
before Brittany Griner got arrested.
Yeah, there you go. No, look, I think that's and that's just another testament to just kind of what she has done. Um, I wanted to make this statement. Do you think a more comparative athlete would be what Tiger Woods did for golf? Like, you didn't
Yes,
watch golf unless Tiger was playing. I think that's kind
yes.
of more of a similar than maybe Michael Jordan, but I like the conversation about
I
Michael
think
Jordan a lot
a
more because it's
better
more layers.
comparison, even better comparison would be Michael Phelps to swimming.
Yeah, but like, is there
You
professional
never watched.
swimming you
You have
can
never watched.
watch other than the Olympics every four
You
years? I mean,
you have never watched a swim race that didn't have Michael Phelps in it.
you're right.
And
But like, true, but it's kind of different. I don't really. Like, where can I find college swimming on TV? Like, where can I?
it's there. It's on ESPN Ocho.
Where can I buy this on my cable
It's
package?
there. You can see it.
It's in
There's
the
multiple swimming
dark
events that
dark
happen
web
on the
only.
Olympics. There are multiple trials that happen, and they're all on ESPN. You don't watch them because Michael Phelps isn't in them.
No, yeah, no, yeah. That's why. That's the reason. I believe it.
That's the comparison.
Yeah. um, look, let's get into these recency bias topics here. These are the topics that mainstream media is talking about that we do not care about, but we're going to chime in anyways because that's apparently what you suckers just fucking love. So let's start out with the first one. Is James Harden a winner? My man on a podcast the other day said, I want to be remembered for my career of being a winner. Is it a little too late for James Harden to be considered a winner in his career when he's on the downhill?
Hold on, I got. Okay, no fever. James Harden, are you fucking dumb?
This is why they call
What have you
Arizona
won?
State a party school, because you definitely weren't studying.
Like what have you won besides the MVP in 2018?
Yeah, and scoring titles, right? That was the same year, right? That was just that 1 year.
They don't give out trophies for
Yeah,
those, do
I
they?
know, but like, is that a winner? Like, you say you won? Like, if he's talking about like regular season games, like I guess, but I mean, who gives a fuck about that? Like, I mean,
I don't want to trash James Harden. Like
yeah,
I think James Harden is the fourth best shooting guard of all time. But
they literally
no,
had to
he's
change
not
the
a
rules
winner.
for his ass because of his
He's
ass.
not, yeah, he's not a winner. He has put very impressive postseason runs together on the Rockets, right? He was probably the best player in the league in 2018 outside of LeBron James. Um, just for the sheer fact that like that run he went on in the postseason, but he was about to beat the KD Warriors. Like that was a thing. Like he was gonna beat them, and then they didn't because Chris Paul got hurt. Like, yeah, you shake your head.
I mean, he is every year, there's Chris Paul pulling a hammy or breaking a hand.
Some, but
Not being able to
let's not act
finish.
like James Harden wasn't about to beat the best team ever assembled, basically on his own. And I want to give him that credit.
27
But
missed threes.
yeah,
27 missed threes after shooting
that's
so
what really hurt.
well. Oh, God.
But
And you
one of
didn't and you didn't
the
even
big
lose
thing
by a lot. They didn't even lose by a lot.
the big thing is that all of that can be true. And me, right, me having watched James Harden's entire NBA career, I will remember James Harden for being a very, very good player who won a lot of games, won a lot of playoff series, was really good on the Thunder when he was here, and an MVP and the fourth best shooting guard ever. But in 20 years, when the kids start saying shit like LeBron wasn't that good or LeBron played against plumbers and shit, they're gonna think of James Harden as just being like mid. And because they're gonna pull up his basketball reference page and be like, oh, he doesn't have a ring, and that's just the truth of it. I
Yeah.
think he's going to be remembered the same way that Reggie Miller is kind of remembered. I
Well,
think
bro.
that's where
I
he's
mean,
remembered. And
you
like,
you
I
know
would
this.
argue that Reggie Miller is a more of a winner than James Harden.
Yeah, and the only thing that he can do to fix that is to come home. Come home, James. Come home. Bring Katie with you. Come home. And let's get the job done. And that way you can go right off into the sunset, and we can all just have a Merry Christmas. I mean, if it happened, I wouldn't even be mad. Uh,
I would love that, but my problem is that that wouldn't save his legacy because he would be like the third best player on that team, right?
yeah, but he'd still have a ring.
He would have the ring, that's true,
I mean,
but
that's what
he
I'm
would
saying. In
have
20
the
years,
ring
it
the
would
same
matter. In
way.
20 years, it would matter.
No, he has the ring the same way Brian Scalabrine does.
Damn it, you're right. God damn it.
He has a ring the same way that
I
Dwight
tried,
Howard
James. I
has
tried. I
a ring.
tried, James. I tried.
Dwight Howard has a ring, and all he needed was a ring to be
And
considered one of the best centers, top
a
20 center
ring
of
with
all time.
who? Who did he get a ring with?
The
Was it the
Lakers,
Lakers? Yeah,
in
damn it. Yeah, yeah. And,
2020.
and and not even like the first stint with the Lakers, right? It was his like second stint with the
Yeah,
Lakers.
with LeBron. It was not
Yeah.
with Kobe.
Yeah. God. I remember this Dwight Howard, Steve Nash days. Those were the days.
Yeah, him and Rajon Rondo, man. They
The days. Lakers sucked. Um,
JaVale McGee, they all got their rings.
yeah. All right, but yeah, no, I don't think James Harden's gonna ever be remembered as a winner. I think he's gonna be remembered as a guy they changed the rules because his step back was so filthy, and he had, like you said, a lot of good playoff runs, a lot of regular season wins. I mean, averaged like 40 a game. It felt like, for a long time. Um,
He is up there in terms of best offensive players ever.
yeah, 100%. I just wouldn't be
He's
like, oh,
averaging
James Harden. Yeah, the
like
dude's a
35.
winner.
He averaged like 36 points in a season. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
obviously he's very, very good.
Um,
But yeah, not a winner.
Yeah. Next topic, which has been beaten to death for like not even like recently, but like for months, is does Jason Tatum need an NBA title or an NBA MVP to be a top 5 player in the NBA? If he doesn't get it done this year, are we allowed to say this dude doesn't even belong to be in the top 10?
Are we sure he's in the top 5 of his own team? That's um
Al Horford's better.
all kidding aside. Jason Tatum is Jason Tatum is the sixth best player in the NBA. He's behind Jokic. No order here. He's behind Jokic, SGA, Brunson, Luka, Giannis. He's behind those 5 guys. He might be behind Embiid. He might be number 7. I think the problem that people have is that they expect Jason Tatum to have a ring by now because of the rosters he's been on, right? And my only problem with that is he's just now turning 26, I think. He's still on track to have a Hall of Fame career. He'll get a ring. Like it will happen. Um so I think people were just expecting too much too early. I think that, they saw him paired with Kyrie early. And they kind of set this expectation that Jason Tatum is going to be like a great all-time player, and he will be. I think he will be, but I don't think he's gonna be like the best Celtic ever or anything like that. I don't know if he's gonna win 2. He'll probably win 1 at least. But like there's a lot of pressure being put on Jason Tatum that I don't think is warranted. I think he has a very good team. They've constructed a really good roster around him. Jaylen Brown is insane. I think Derek White's addition, like that's a great move. You know, Drew Holiday, they have everything they need. But if Jason Tatum isn't ready to lead them, and I mean lead as in really be the guy, um, I don't have a huge issue with that yet. I think in 2 years it'll be a different story. Because like in 2 years, if he still doesn't have a ring in 2 years, then it's gonna start being, is Jason Tatum a winner? And then it's gonna start being, is Jason Tatum
He's gonna
top 10
turn
in
into
the league?
James Harden. God damn it.
Should the Celtics trade Jason Tatum while they still can? Like that's gonna be the headlines
Yeah.
that are around in 2 years
Yeah.
if he doesn't have a ring.
Come
I
home,
think this
Jason.
year and next year are kind of where he needs to focus, and I think he's he's 26, he's been to the finals twice, and he's been to the Eastern Conference Finals like 4 other times. Like he's fine. But I think I have to agree that if he doesn't win a ring soon, then yeah, you can't put him in that top 5. You probably can't put him in the top 10.
For me, I'm kind of with you with the whole like I don't think it needs to happen now. But it needs to happen sooner than later. And the other thing that bothers me is which Jason Tatum are we gonna get? Because it seems like every time this man gets in the finals, he like chokes like no one. Like he tries too hard. I feel like he wants it too bad. I feel like the emotions are too high.
He's
I mean,
trying to be Kobe.
we're talking about like 12-point games. We're talking about like awful shooting numbers. I mean, terrible. I mean, that Warriors series, oh, bad. I mean, like it was awful. I mean, it wasn't just him, but I mean, it was mainly him. It was like the reason that you're not,
Terrible.
yeah, like the reason they weren't like winning those games was because like my man was averaging like I was averaging more points watching it at fuzzies. Like I mean it was bad. And I don't,
They were up 2-0
yeah.
and he got comfortable. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the difference that we're going to see with the maturity level, right?
Yeah.
I think he probably play a little bit
Hmm.
more
Well,
less reckless.
Yeah, and I don't think you can compare the Mavs to that Warriors team either, but that's not my point. The point is the fact that this right here might be it's definitely a better spot than the first time around. It's definitely a better spot. I mean, and like you said, they've been here before. He's been here before. This is his second finals, right? But they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a bajillion times, like you said. I mean, lost to the Heat last year, whatever. I mean, it was a thing, right? We got deprived of Celtics Nuggets 2 years in a row. Let's just say it for what it is. That's what it should have been. We got deprived of that, right? I mean, it's honest to God the truth. What? What?
Fucking Jimmy Butler, dude.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, I remember those messages to you. I mean, I was like, oh, it's a Jimmy Butler fourth quarter time. Like, I mean, it happened. Like, he carried that team, and I think him not being a part of that run this playoff really hurt him. And I mean, he shouldn't have blabbed his mouth and be like, it doesn't matter, we're still gonna do it. Like, I don't say that. You're the lifeblood of this team. Like, don't be humbling yourself to the point where we're just spitting out delusions. But my point being, he can't have another performance like that, but I don't think he will, because I don't think, like we've stated before, I don't think the Mavs defense, even though it's the best since post All-Star break, I don't think it's still good enough to stop what he brings to the table. He's got so many moves in his bag. He's got so many ways to score the basketball, and if you're going to let players like Isaiah Joe get in the lane, or players like, Lou Dort take you to the effing rack, I mean, Jason Tatum has the likelihood to average 35 plus this series. He needs to. I feel like he's going to need to, because if he's not doing that, I don't trust Jaylen Brown to pick up the pace. I don't. I love Jaylen Brown. I love Jaylen Brown. I know he dropped 40 plus. I know I watched it. I was there. But I'm just saying, I still don't believe in him that much, man. Like, he's still a Batman to me. Like, I know you paid him big money. He's not. He's still Batman to me. But if he's Batman, then Jason Tatum's Robin and Al Horford is Superman. I mean, I'm just saying, like Al Horford, like you said. I think the problem is Al Horford is the leader of this team, Zach. That's the problem. Is Jason Tatum can't be the leader because Al Horford is the vocal leader of this team. You cannot tell me he isn't. He is. He's got to be.
No, okay. Yes, I think Al Horford currently, yes, is the
that's what I'm
vocal leader.
saying.
But the problem isn't that. The problem is that their actual leader, Marcus Smart, got traded.
Ooh.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is it a problem? They're back in the finals. Probably not necessarily like a problem, I guess.
No,
But
yeah,
like
not yeah.
when it comes to someone stepping up and just kind of taking that lead, holding Jason Tatum accountable, holding Jaylen Brown accountable. Jason Tatum, you're right, he's not that guy yet. He's not yelling at anybody. He's not going to scream at Jaylen Brown if he has to, right? As opposed to someone like, you think about local leaders, you think about even like Steph, right? Like Steph will scream at Draymond if he needs to. Draymond will scream at other players on the Warriors. Luka will scream at players on the Mavericks if they're playing bad, and Kyrie will do the same. They have those leaders. I don't think the Celtics have that, except I think that Jaylen Brown is that guy. I'm with you that I think Al Horford is probably the guy in the locker room that's kind of
He's the rah-rah guy. He's the rah-rah guy.
Yeah, but like Jaylen Brown, I really think if like they were down 20 going into the locker room at halftime, right? I think Jaylen Brown's going to be the one that looks at Jason Tatum and says, "You got to play better."
Well, yeah. Well, and here's the thing: it's what I feel like it's one of those things where like Jaylen Brown probably never talks. So, like anytime he does, it's like people are like, oh, it's got to be important because like Jaylen Brown is talking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel
He's
like
kind of an idiot, so I get it. But like,
I feel like that's kind of like because I agree. I think there's so much respect for Jaylen Brown for the words that come out of his mouth that if it was that situation, he did say that. I don't think nobody's gonna be like, oh, like come on, man, chill out. I mean, I don't think anybody would be like trying to tell him to shut the fuck up or anything. I think you're right. I think he's the guy that like. I feel like he's like the older brother to Jason Tatum. I feel like I feel like that's fact, and I feel like and the thing is I don't even remember that man being the third overall pick. I'm just saying I don't remember that. I don't remember him being the third.
I remember it, and I remember being like, "Who?"
Yeah. I was like, I didn't. Yeah, I just went over my head. But I mean, he's good player. I mean, he's panned out very nicely. I don't think he's third overall pick panned out nicely. I think he gets paid like crazy. A third overall over what?
That's crazy.
You think really?
No, yeah, you're crazy.
I'm smoking crack.
Smoking crack. If you know for a fact, and let's just assume Wemby's not in the draft, right? You know for a fact that you're getting a Jaylen Brown caliber player in the draft, and you know for a fact that he's going to turn out the way Jaylen Brown currently has, you draft that player number 1 overall. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much risk involved with drafting.
Yeah.
Jahlil Okafor was drafted at number 3, like, and Andrew Bogut was drafted at number 1. Like, Anthony Bennett was the number 1 overall draft pick. Like,
I mean, Anthony Bennett was cold though.
if you, no matter what pick it is, if you get a Jaylen Brown, that's a successful draft pick.
I mean, but like you said, you didn't know. Like you were like, who? I mean, like initially you were like, nah, like this ain't it. Like I mean, you were like, oh, another Jahlil Okafor. Like, good job. Like I mean, like that. I
I mean,
mean,
I don't know. I don't know if I was like that. I mean, I don't
that's what I'm
remember it
saying.
too
It's
well.
so
But
it's so insignificant. We
I
don't even
remember seeing,
remember. Like I mean, I
I
remember.
remember seeing the highlights and being like, man, this guy cannot go left.
Yeah, it's a problem. No, I think, but I just I think he's getting. I think they're kind of overpaying for him. But I mean, like I think you had to because I mean you needed him. You know what I'm
I
saying?
do think they're
Yeah, but you needed him. You needed him. There's no way you're gonna have to you couldn't let him go. You needed
What
him.
did he make? 62 million a year.
Oh, like something ridiculous. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it's
he's,
something
he's
where it's
good.
like, oh, like you really
He's
wanted
50
this.
good. He's 50 million good, but
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I mean, I
he's
can easily accept that, but I mean, like, my man got
62 million. Is
paid.
that the supermax?
Man got paid.
Can he even get the? Is that on the supermax? How did he get that
Yeah,
contract?
yeah, because the Thunder wanted him really bad. Like he was very much sought after, and people were willing to shell out the wall. Like Sam Presti was ready to like make room for this man.
Did he sign a supermax?
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
Okay, don't. Did he make an All NBA team? Because I think you had to do that like
I
twice.
I I I think maybe he had to be first
I mean,
team.
obviously he signed it. He
Yeah,
qualified
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah. I was like, they got him. Like it's a supermax deal. I mean, is he worth that to this team? He
I didn't
is.
think he was. I didn't think he qualified for it until I thought about it, and I was like, well, 62 million has to be a
Yeah, yeah,
supermax.
yeah. I was
Like,
like, yeah, that's big money. That's not a 2 year deal, brother. That's a long one.
next off season, we'll be here talking about how SGA just got paid 74 million.
God, yeah,
So
it's gonna be ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at here as far as that whole thing goes. As far as Jason Tatum needing this, I don't think he does now, but I think that this is one of his better chances of getting it done.
I think this is the last season of me saying he doesn't have to win one.
Yeah, I think I can jump on board with that. I can jump on board with that. Let's get into the last one here. This one probably won't be too long. Um, Bronny James, odds came out for where he's going to land. Obviously, the Lakers lead, followed by the Phoenix Suns. Kind of walk me around this because obviously, right now, I'm just going to say wherever LeBron is, that's where he's going to end up because that's what the NBA wants. What are your thoughts?
Um, I think LeBron James will be a Phoenix Sun next season. Um, and I think that Bronny will be there too. And this is just based off of, well, here are two things. First, Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, did say that they will be exploring free agency. Um, Phoenix is up there in terms of destinations. Phoenix also has, I think, the 17th overall pick, and they've have flirted with drafting Bronny with that pick. Um, for the simple fact that they would get LeBron too. Now, the only thing that makes me think that that wouldn't happen is the Lakers worked out some deal with the Pelicans to where they get an extra pick in the first round that season. It's like 23rd overall or something like that. And they could draft Bronny with that pick, which I'm thinking like, why would they free up that space if they're not going to do it? Um, and I don't know because like you think about it and you're like, yeah, you probably don't want to draft Bronny with the 17th overall pick. You can probably get someone better than that. I don't know if that's true.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, like,
we talk about it a lot. We talk about Bronny just kind of like coasting off the fact that he's LeBron's son, which is a fact. Like that's obviously happening. He's getting drafted high up because of that. I also think the scouts are right. Bronny James is an NBA player. Um, and the reason I say that is because he has the exact same play style as a very good defensive guard. right? And I'm talking Drew Holiday, talking Marcus Smart, talking Tony Allen, players that can shoot at a higher rate as well. And he's probably more like Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday in that sense that and Derek White in that sense that he is a lockdown perimeter defender and he is a lockdown shooter from the outside. And that's that's exactly what you need in today's game, no matter how tall they are. I get that he's only 6'2", but he's a lockdown defender and he's a lockdown shooter. And I think he's a top 10 defender in this draft. So when you're looking at players, when Phoenix is looking around at what they need, what do they need more than anything? Bench depth, specifically on the defensive end. And this is someone that would help with that. And if it also, and I don't want to act like they're not drafting him because they would get LeBron, like they are. But I do think that Bronny would be a late second round pick, even if his dad it wasn't LeBron James. And I think that Phoenix is kind of taking that into consideration, thinking like, okay, we probably would have drafted this guy late in the second round anyways. But if we do it in the first round, we guarantee basically getting LeBron along with that because we don't want to risk another team drafting Bronny instead.
Yeah, and here's the
So
thing: is as far as ESPN's concerned, Bronny James is right now listed as the 52nd best player available coming into the draft. 52nd, which would put him early third round, late second round, right? Like you said, second round
yeah,
pick kind of area, right? Are there 50 players better than Bronny James? I don't think so. I think you're probably right on that. I mean, 17, I don't know. I think there might be 17 more that are more offensively gifted. But like you said, if he's playing a defensive guard position and you're comparing him to these players, I think that is way more valuable than someone that can just shoot for me. I mean, defense wins championships mentality. I mean, because think about the players here. I'm just going to name a couple players that are ahead of him here uh, on this thing. And one is Rob Dillingham, a sharp shooting guard from Kentucky. You have Jacoby Walter, another sharpshooter from Baylor. Jared McCain, another halfway two-way kind of player. I wouldn't say he's completely two-way, but he's decent on both sides of the basketball. Reed Shepard, a shooter. A tall shooter from Kentucky, the fourth best player according to ESPN on availability. Um, Stephon Castle. These are all guys whose biggest asset is being able to score you the basketball, secondary to defending. Now, Cody Williams is on here at number 12. That's a guy that also has a lot of two-way potential. Obviously, the Thunder eyeballing him. Um, Filipowski is up here. Uh, you know, Johnny Furphy from Kansas, another shooter, another tall, lanky, white shooter. Um, there are players that I feel like are better than him at scoring the basketball. I don't think there's anybody that is going to convince me that there are 17 better players than Bronny James at scoring the basketball. I think that's a given. I think we haven't even seen enough to even really have a logical debate on it, but I feel like people would be very much in tune with yes, there are 17 players that are more offensively gifted than Bronny James. Are there 17 more players that are equally as gifted on both sides of the basketball better than Bronny James? I don't think so. I think you can justify taking him in that 17 spot with that. But if you can wait, then do it. Like if you find the opportunity to where you can wait, do it because your wallet will
yeah,
thank you later. But I think that like you said, there's a lot of if I get this guy, here comes LeBron mentality here, and I think that's more of the danger you're working with is which one of these teams really wants LeBron to want to be here as a destination.
hmm
The best way to do it is let's bring the sun in and try to lure him that way. You're gonna
yeah,
have more of a concern of FOMO on that from GMs that are like, well, we're at the 17th pick, like this is it. Like if we don't pick him up, is the team at 18 gonna get him? Like I mean, that's the fear you have as far as Bronny James goes, because it's like one of these teams might grab him that thinks that this is their ticket to getting LeBron James to come play for them, and it might not be the Phoenix Suns that are the only team thinking about this.
yeah. And I think this kind of brings up another kind of trend in that NBA teams aren't valuing their draft picks the way that they used to because of the way that the off seasons kind of operated in recent season. I say recent, I mean like the past like 10 years, right?
Mhm.
15 years. The off season is so different and players can kind of force their way into so many positions now. And there are so many different things that teams can do to get players to added to their roster that I don't think drafting is as necessary as it used to be. Now, building your team through the draft will reward you for like chemistry reasons. You can look at the Warriors did that. You can look at the Thunder doing that. I mean, but then you look at a team like, and even the Celtics, like they drafted a lot. But even when you look at like the Mavs, right? Like they drafted Luka, yes, but they also just signed a ton of really good guys and got him in the offseason. That kind of helped Luka's career out throughout the whole way. And you're seeing that happen at the draft level now too, because I think GMs are thinking like every draft pick is kind of a coin flip, right? Because you could have an Anthony Bennett situation where it's like, oh, he was very by far obviously the number one pick. He should have been, and then boom, flop. And I think that that kind of anxiety is what's causing GMs to throw around their picks a lot more than they used to. I think that's why we're seeing, instead of a few players and then three picks, we're seeing one player and six picks and trades for players like Rudy Gobert. Um, I just don't. I don't know if I agree with it because I think the draft is super valuable, especially considering the skill level that a lot of these younger guys are at. But I can understand not valuing those draft picks as highly. So if I'm the Suns, I'm probably thinking like, okay, it'd be more valuable to me in over a 10-year, right? Well, that player probably might have been 17 for 10 years. Like, that's kind of what I'm, I get 2
Well, we
years.
are we are experiencing some technical issues here. It's not on Zach's end here. This is on Discord's end, I believe. Um, but I think what he's trying to say is, when you're building teams, especially now because we're in kind of this transitional period, right? We're working on this thing where a lot of the superstars are aging now, and now young talent is more valued because that is the future of this league. And if you can get in on some of these guys that people feel like are undervalued, as far as having the ability to pick out certain players here. When I was, but I think Zach agrees with me here that because these superstars are aging,
Yes.
this young talent, you have to get it on it now because it's gonna pay off later, and that's why the Thunder are in such good positions. That's why Orlando's in such a good position. That's why the Cavs are in kind of a decent position here. There's a lot of young teams that are in a good position for the future because LeBron's not going to play that much longer. Steph's not going to play that much longer. Clay's not going to play that much longer. The big juggernauts you're going to have are the Celtics because, like you said, Jason Tatum, mid-20s, you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal, with Wemby. They're building around him down there. That's another young team that's going to be, set for the future here in the
Like,
next,
he is like a fucking like panther just hiding in the
yeah,
fucking bushes right
yeah.
now. Just
Yeah, I mean, and Portland's with Scoot Henderson up there. They've got some stuff working. I mean, I know they're not as much of a threat, but I know you're not a Scoot guy anymore. I thought you were, all in on Scoot, but that didn't
I
really work.
was,
I
and
mean,
then he played a season.
yeah, that didn't work out very well for you. I think the Kings are going to be a force to have to reckon with for a long time. I think with Fox and DeMontis, they're kind of in the same position the Celtics are in as far as stages age wise, and with kind of the same amount of quality nucleus there because I think that it's comparable. It's not the same for sure, but it's definitely comparable as far as when you advance to the future 5 years. These are the teams that are going to have a good hold as far as teams with players that are in their prime versus teams like the Thunder who will kind of be in that middle range. They'll have SGA that's kind of in that same age range as Jason Tatum as far as having one of those kind of veteran superstars, but you're going to seeing a lot of these younger teams excel because a lot of these other teams that have had superstars for so long are not going to be as competitive once their superstars leave. Money reasons and GMs change. The game has changed. And I think that when you haven't been worried, like you said, about draft picks and you're more worried about offseason moves, you start to kind of get rusty about being able to eyeball talent or having the right scouts. They're like, like you haven't really cared the last 10 years. Like, guys, I have to start caring now. You want my services to be not top notch now. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I think I mean, I 100% agree with you. It's just like it's you can feel the transition
Yeah.
happening,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You can
Exactly.
feel these players aging out. Like
Exactly.
we're kind of at this point that we're like, okay, we've probably seen the last LeBron ring. We've probably seen the last Steph ring. We've probably seen the last KD ring. We've probably seen the last Kawhi ring. Like these players are gone, and it's fine. They're aging out. Like we're at the point now that like Kyrie is considered an old player, right? Kyrie is the vet on the Mavericks, and that's where we're at now. If
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyrie's the vet, then that means I'm old. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. But yeah, I think we're kind of on the same page here. The Suns will the only way Bronny goes in the first round is if FOMO takes place with these GMs and they feel like if I don't pull the trigger now, the Lakers are gonna have me we're gonna hand this pick to them, and we don't want to do that. But speaking of the Lakers, this was gonna be this is your final topic. I'll give you the mic here, but I'll kind of preface it with this question. We're pretty certain that JJ Redick is looking like the next coach of the Lakers, right? We're probably
yeah,
headed towards that. I think we're at like the 85%, probably gonna happen threshold
I mean, I've
here.
seen reports that they're finalizing it,
Yeah.
so
So I mean, yeah,
I think it's happening.
yeah. So my question.
I have my
Yeah,
problems.
okay. So
Um,
let me let you get into this, but let me preface it with this. You think Phoenix is a good destination for LeBron? If Since they're hiring JD, does that keep him there, or does that push him out the door with probably what your problem is going to be here? That I'm about to hear. Go ahead. I just wanted because you seemed pretty certain, but I thought that because JJ and LeBron had this thing going on that was going to be kind of one of those things where I don't want to leave my buddy type thing.
yeah, I don't know if you can hear the rain or not, but um, I don't think that he would stay or leave because of JJ Redick. I don't think he cares that much about who his coach is. I definitely think that JJ Redick getting hired by the Lakers is probably a sign that LeBron would like to stay with the Lakers because he probably has a hand in wanting JJ Redick. And I think that's just because he talks so much basketball with JJ Redick with this podcast now, and I mean, they just talk basketball a lot. Apparently, they're pretty good friends. So I think that just adds to it. Like LeBron trusts him. LeBron knows that he has a good basketball mind. He trusts the schemes that he would think up, and he knows that he would have a lot of input in that too, which I think is really important. But like we were talking earlier, my only issue with JJ Redick going to the Lakers has nothing to do with coaching itself, because I think JJ Redick would be a fantastic coach. I think he'd be an amazing coach, and I think I would rather see him coaching like the Wizards or like the Pistons or the Trailblazers or something like that, a younger team where he doesn't have to worry about like winning now, right? With the Lakers, you have LeBron and AD, and it's you have to win, like you have to win now, or you're gonna like your coaching career might get derailed. Just ask every Lakers coach in the past like 15 years what happened. So that's my only problem with it. It's just like having a podcast with your best player could be an issue, but like we were saying earlier, I think LeBron is just kind of at that level that no other NBA player is at, where he's just above the rest of the NBA players, so that like him having a special personal relationship with the coach doesn't really mean as much as if it were like Anthony Davis. I don't think that's going to disrupt the locker room as much, because I think half the players in that Lakers locker room already think of LeBron as a coach, like anyways, and LeBron's old enough to be some of their dads, so I don't necessarily see a huge issue with that just because it's LeBron. If it were any other player, I would have an issue. But like I brought up earlier, when the bubble was happening and the NBA Players Association was trying to figure out what to do, they literally just asked LeBron what they were going to do, and LeBron made the decision for like the entire NBA. Like that, it's just what happens when you're that guy, and he's just done such a good job of it. So I don't know. LeBron's earned it, I guess. Like he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 40 years old and you're still putting up the kind of numbers he's putting up, I don't think you really have in something that literally no one that's ever watched the sport has ever seen. I think that does kind of open some doors where people are more accepting of something that, like you said, if it's any other player, that's probably not great, super weird, and I don't like it. Like it's but because it's LeBron, like you said, he's already like anybody that's 22 or younger on that team, that's your dad. Like what I'm saying, like that literally he is old enough to be your father, and that's the reality of the situation. I think, like
I
you
mean,
said,
his literal kid is in the
yeah,
draft.
and
Like, it's
yeah, it's happening. Like I mean, like we're there, baby. Like we're there. It's definitely revolutionary. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we'll probably end it. That's a good stopping point. Episode
right when the rain
66.
stopped. Good job.
Wrapping up. Zach, thank you for hanging out with me today. Another good episode in the books. Anything else you wanna just kind of quip through, or are we?
Four things really. The first three already happened.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, and then this year, the fourth thing, which will be the fourth ring for OU softball in 4 years. Four-peat, it's on the way. Um, Patty Gasso is the greatest coach in sports history. So
Yeah, and me and Zach will be seated for game two. After game one is already finished tomorrow, we'll be ready to bring home the trophy after winning game one tomorrow, and just have fun, Sooner
we
fans.
should go.
Yeah,
We
and,
should
and
go.
enjoy it, Sooner fans. Enjoy. I'm at least tailgate. We're grabbing it. We're gonna be out
We
there.
need to get in.
Yeah,
We should go. We
yeah,
should
we
go
should.
game two.
Yeah, let's try to get something going here. All right, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you next time. Keep a stick on the ice.